Hey guys, welcome back to Diving Deep in Thought. You're here with Elias, and today I want to talk to you guys about the 5 minute commitment. The 5 minute commitment is 5 things you can commit to for 1 minute each every day in order to build habits that'll change your life. So I'm going to tell you 5 things I commit to many years ago, and as the years go on, these commitments evolve. And by doing it day in, day out, the repetitiveness of it makes it become a habit. And because we usually make things a lot harder than they really are, because our imagination always exaggerates an expectation compared to reality. So to get us into building these habits, we need to commit for a small amount of time, get a taste of the reward, and then by doing that, it'll enable us to obviously build that up and commit to it longer. So the 5 minute commitment. The first thing I commit to in the morning when I first wake up is a gratitude exercise. It's a gratitude journaling. So I write 5 things I'm deeply grateful for. And when I write them down, so I am grateful for whatever that is. When I write it, I embody the emotion that's attached to that thing I'm grateful for. And I do it for 5 things. So you could write, I am grateful for my health. I am grateful for my family. I am grateful for my friends. I am grateful for my faith. I am grateful for today's opportunity to become the best version of myself. Now, what this does is it primes your brain to immediately link waking up to gratitude. So your day can't go wrong. You've already given thanks to something that hasn't even existed yet. So you're starting off on a good note. Whereas when you wake up, you roll over and you're immediately seeking. So now you've come from a place of abundance, which is gratitude, and now you're going to a place of scarcity, which is external validation. You're seeking compliments. You're seeking validation through notifications, through messaging. You're looking for that hit, that rush of dopamine. And what tends to happen when you keep doing that is your baseline happiness. So when you first wake up and you get a rush of this dopamine, which is basically the chemical that's released to signify to our bodies that this is something that's needed for survival. So dopamine is not meant to be rushing through your body in huge dosages at a very constant rate throughout the day, because what tends to happen is your body actually tires out. Dopamine is a response to something that's keeping you alive. It's usually released in animals when they're eating the right foods for reproductive purposes, obviously. So what it's doing, it's a guide. It's a reward system. In order for a reward system to work, there has to be a gap between starting an event, ending an event, and then getting that reward. So if you're getting these rewards for doing nothing, what you're doing is you're misleading your body and your brain. It's like rewarding a dog to eat treats when he doesn't even do the tricks. Where's the win in that? The dog doesn't end up appreciating the treats and he learns nothing in return. So it's the same thing with us or with any animal or any living thing on this earth. Is in order for us to be rewarded, there has to be an element of work. So we don't hijack the dopamine receptor in our brain and on synthetic material. So that's what we got to do is have a baseline that's not too high in the morning, so that our day actually gets more pleasant. Whereas if you're having all this rush of information in the morning, what tends to happen is you spike in your dopamine, and your body has to regulate that. Your body always wants to go back to balance, homeostasis. So in order for it to balance this big rush, it drags that down. And what happens is it's like a come down. It's something that's balancing out that chemical imbalance in your brain. So on a daily basis, you basically, your emotions are like a stock market. We don't want that. And by doing gratitude exercises in the morning as the first thing, you can only go up from there, because you're grateful for something you haven't even seen yet. So when you do see anything in the day, like a bad coffee, that's not going to ruin your day, because you've primed yourself for happiness. Bad things happen to everyone. It's those who focus on the bad things and attach to them that ruins their day. Everyone has bad things. We're all human. We all encounter different things that don't agree with us. But it's those who leech onto the bad things and let a bad coffee ruin their whole day and all the opportunities, over a 5-minute coffee. So it's not worth it. So that's one thing I do is gratitude. The second thing I do is exercise. So that 1 minute, that's all you've got to commit to. 1 minute. So that could be, say, 30 or 40 push-ups and 20 or 30 squats and a few crunches. Just 1 minute of exercise. It will give you a taste of that rush, and more likely than not, that 1 minute will never actually go for 1 minute. It'll actually go for longer. But the enticing part is you must commit for 1 minute, because you feel really bad when you can't even commit for 1 minute. I mean, who can't commit for 1 minute? Just 60 seconds. So the first one is the gratitude exercises. The second one is the actual physical activity. The third one's reading. 1 minute of reading. What's that? 2 pages? Half a page? Get a taste of what it feels like to read and get a perspective from someone else's point of view. It takes 10 years for someone to write a good book. So you're getting 10 years worth of information from this person, and they're putting the best parts in there to sell it. So that's really good. So reading. The fourth thing is being present and being mindful of what you're eating. Be actually mindful of what you're eating. Don't just stuff your mouth for the sake of eating. We take eating for granted. It's the single most important thing that fuels your body. You're made up of food. Think about it. What makes you up on a physical level? Only food. The building blocks of your body comes from food, nothing else. Oxygen keeps, obviously, the brain and the other organs functioning, but food fuels the body, and sun, but food fuels the body. So whatever you're putting in your body, that's what your body's going to be made up of. When you eat bad food, your skin turns bad, your organs don't work at an optimal rate. So food is important, and mindful food is mindful eating is understanding what you're putting into your body and the implications of it. So if you're putting stuff in your body that's hard to process, like complex sugars, complex carbohydrates, if it's hard to process, you're just making more work for your digestive system. And 65% of your energy is reserved for digestion. So imagine if you ate simpler foods, more whole foods that are more nutritionally valuable for your body, and you'll be full for longer. You won't get those insulin spikes which demands more food more consistently, more bad food more consistently. And then I think I got one more, which is the fifth one. And the fifth one is some form of meditation or prayer. Now, as humans, if we only look up to humans, or if we only look up to something that's on an earthly physical level, there isn't too much hope. Now, hope is seeing something beyond every circumstance in the world. So if you had an idol, let's say it was some celebrity, and you embodied that person, you put all your faith in that person, and you basically praise that person. So you're basically idolizing another human being. What will end up happening is when that human steps up, falls from grace or does something bad, because your identity is so tied into that one person or one object or one whatever it is, you lose a part of yourself in the process. And it's very hard to heal your identity when you're so in tune with another person. So why most people look for faith or something bigger than them, or something so divine that's unexplainable, mysterious, that's luring you in. There's a sense of incompleteness about defining who they are and what they stand for. What that does is it gives us hope to grow, to be this boundless, endless, eternal type of spiritual consciousness. It's beyond the physical. And what ends up happening is suffering is not actually suffering. And I say this all the time, but people who are faithful, generally speaking, through suffering, that's where they find grace, in suffering. They're not intentionally suffering, but as in the process of growth and growing as a person and pushing your limits, there's an element of suffering in that. And if you can connect that to being boundless, endless, and understanding that you have no limitations, then think of what your potential could be. Think of all the limitations you've put on yourself. They're all from you. Nobody's ever come up to you and said, you can't do this. They may have said it to you, but that didn't stop you. The fact that you believed what they said stopped you. And that's because of your lack of faith. You put your faith in a human being to tell you you can't do something, and your repayment for that is that you're limited. You have limiting beliefs, you have anxiety because you're not in control of who you are. You're bounded, your identity is so focused on this, earthly level that any roadblock that comes your way, you use it as an excuse to hold you back. So having faith or meditation, looking beyond yourself, looking beyond your thoughts, looking beyond your limitations, your events, whatever it is, just being mindful, quiet, be with yourself for 1 minute. Sit in silence for 1 minute. See if you can take that and from there grow. So that is the 5-minute commitment that I'm giving to you guys that I've been using for a few years now, and it works a charm. Any new habit that I want to build, I obviously integrate 1 minute of pure presence to that one thing. Just 1 minute to get a taste of what it really is. And as time progresses, being human, we evolve from that 1 minute. But to set a big goal that's really far from where we are and where we want to be, that's not good. We're looking at progress, not results. Thanks for listening, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you feel like someone can learn from this 5 minutes of commitment, please like, subscribe, and share. Thanks, guys.